Welcome back to Ease and Flow Soul. Today we're going to talk about how to get off the not enough train. Ever have one of those days when you plan to go to bed early only to get a second wind at 10 p.m.? It looks something like this. You wake up late trying to rush your kids off to school, perhaps after tense moments of searching for a lost backpack or a last-minute clothing change. You've already missed your morning routine. And while you're working, you push yourself, taking on too much, going from one task to the next, hardly coming up for air. By the end of the day, you feel like a surfer in a hurricane, having to be everywhere, doing everything for everybody. I totally get it. That was me before I burned out with multiple sclerosis. So the next day you try again, hoping to hit the pillow by 10 p.m. You hope, because what happens next is you get that burst of energy that you just don't know what to do with. So you try binging on Netflix or reading a chapter of a book that you know is impossible to put down, or deleting your inbox, which is what I used to do. And before you know it, it's after midnight and you've turned into a pumpkin again. And so the cycle continues. That's the not enough train. It's when you go from one thing to the next, pushing yourself to the limit with the drive to work hard, but not really feeling satisfied with what you've done. This is a sure way to burn yourself out. It affects your emotions, your physical health, and worst of all, it affects the relationships with the ones you love the most. Now, what causes us to ride on the not enough train? The simple answer is not being mindful, not taking the time to be present with what is. For instance, when you're with your family members, you're not really there. You might be hearing them, but are you really listening to them? You're on the train speeding past. Or when you're trying to complete a task, maybe you're not really there enjoying the moment of productivity because you're on the train trying to get it done and move on to the next thing. You're doing all the things as best you can, but you're not really present because your subconscious mind keeps telling you that it's never enough. When you get that second wind at 10 p.m., chances are you haven't been present to process your day. You're not satisfied with something that you did accomplish. Something just doesn't feel complete. And your brain is still looking for the next thing to do. So what's the root of not enough? That information is deep within your subconscious mind, along with the other 7 billion members of the human race. I want you to know that it is possible to get off the not enough train long enough so that you can stop feeling disconnected from yourself. It is possible to get off so that you can cherish those everyday moments with your family members that are so meaningful and that create beautiful memories. And I want you to know that it's possible to get off the train so that you can stop falling out of the routine that you know keeps you grounded, aligned, and ready to start your day with positivity and joyful expectation. So what's the key to getting off the not enough train? Well, it's paying attention not to what you are doing, but to who you are being. That's the key to getting off the not enough train. Because when you're so busy doing, it's easy to forget that you're actually a human being. So how are you being when you're showing up for what you're doing? Check your emotional state. Is it anxious, stressed, overwhelmed? Or is it calm, gratitude, joy? The good news is that you can choose. And I want you to celebrate your innate ability to choose your beingness because you were created in the divine image. That means the divine lives inside of you, animating you throughout your whole day. And when you tap into your beingness, your inner divinity, you will be able to make subtle shifts in your energy that create the changes that you want in your life. It's easier to stay connected to your self-care and not fall off the wagon into nighttime Netflix or Ben and Jerry's binges. and you'll have more time and energy to do the things that you want to do. Include having your head on that pillow by 10 p.m. or time of your choice, feeling satisfied about your day, ready for a good night's sleep. Now, I wish I knew all of this years ago when I was living on an empty tank, completely out of balance. It was a time when I would go to sleep very late after my last child finally fell asleep. I'd wake up early in the morning, exhausted, to get them ready for school, and then take care of everything I needed to do throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, feel like a ping pong ball bouncing back and forth between everyone, everything, and everywhere. Now, one day I was at the doctor's office because I had a gray spot in the center of my eye that actually moved around with my eye movements. I had put off going to the eye doctor because who has time for such things? It was a week before the Passover holiday. So I was sitting with my eyes in that device, and the doctor was sitting on the other side, looking through one eye and then the other, looking frustrated, tense, stressed, as if he were confused and didn't know what was happening. Well, he asked me to wait in the waiting room, and I was a bit worried, and then I saw him pacing down the hallway saying to himself, the week before Passover, the week before Passover. Then he called me into his office and he looked at me seriously and he said, Mrs. Berkowitz, where would you like to spend the Passover holiday? At this hospital or at that hospital? Me in the hospital? I don't have time for such things. And before you know it, I was in the cab on the way to the hospital. After 2 days and many tests, a neurologist came into my room and showed me a picture of my brain on an MRI. He showed me these bright white spots, unidentifiable bright objects, UBOs. It reminded me of UFOs. I nodded and listened politely. Then I finally made the connection. That picture of my brain was actually what was inside my head. Those UFOs were flying around inside my head. Well, I had damage to my brain. I was going blind. And when I had time alone to myself, I heard a voice inside of me speaking to me. And it said, it's time to slow down. You're already enough. I knew I'd be okay. I understood deeply that I had to start taking care of myself and putting myself first. So when I got home, I invested time, energy, and resources into taking care of myself so that I could rebuild my life back again. I hired different practitioners to address the different aspects of my body, mind, and spirit. And this experience gave me so much compassion to others living with chronic illness because I deeply understood how easy it is to get caught in these patterns. And they're rooted deep inside of us. They're hidden from us until we burn out or get a disease. Well, to this day, I'm grateful for getting sick. I joke about it and say it saved my life because it has helped me to reach higher levels of healing in my own life. And with this gratitude, I support others to do the same. Wishing you much love, many blessings, and remember to connect to your ease and flow soul.